Well, are you ready to have your very first insect product?
Not sure.
Let's see how we do. Well, it looks like a protein bar.
You got chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
I have peanut butter.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know. Kind of tastes like a Cliff Bar or any other kind of protein bar I've ever had.
I'm not getting any hints of cricket.
No.
Tastes pretty normal.
Yeah.
I always kind of thought that an insect flour would be okay. I wouldn't mind that as much. And somehow it's the idea of like eating them whole that kind of bothers me. But I don't know why. I mean, I know 2 billion people enjoy them as part of their diet without any qualms. And it must have been getting a little more mainstream because we actually bought these at our local no-frills grocery store.
Yeah, these are President's Choice products.
Mhm.
So.
However, they were in the sale bin,
Yeah.
and now they don't seem to sell them anymore. So maybe not quite not mainstream yet. I mean, according to some people, they say it's kind of inevitable we'll all be eating bugs or lab food at some point in the future. Which makes sense. Sustainable options. They take up a lot less room, shorter lifespans. And as you can see, there's the book Rebugging the Planet, which was recently on my shelf. I read through it. Charles has not, but we decided we would chat a little bit about bugs in our lives today and the importance of them for the world. Because if bugs disappear, so does chocolate and fruit and coffee. And even if the humans survive, many people would say it's not worth living. So Charles, if I say bugs or insects, what do you think of, and is it positive or negative?
Well, if you would have asked me several years ago, probably negative.
Yeah, it's changed in the last few years.
Well, I think you've been exposing me to more and more things on, soil and different things like that, and we certainly need bugs and insects and, what do you call them, invertebrates?
Invertebrates. Invertebrates are the glue of the planet.
Yeah, to, enrich the soil and all these other things that I hadn't previously thought about.
Yeah.
Generally before, they're just kind of like creepy, crawly things that you don't want to kill as soon as you see them.
Yeah, outside of even the potential food source, I think we sometimes forget that the little guys are at the foundational level of our ecosystems.
Yeah. So it's definitely shifted over time, my perspective on things. However, that being said, you see a spider, a beetle that's like in your house, and you're like, oh, this is not exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm more okay with them like out there than I am in here.
Which, even though you're more okay with them, are there some bugs that you just love to hate or can't quite bring yourself to love?
Well, mosquitoes, I guess. Even though I understand that they do a lot of pollinating.
They do.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah, weirdly enough, mosquitoes' main food source is flower nectar. It's not blood. They just need it to hatch their young, which is frustrating for us.
Yeah, still not really fond of spiders. They give me the creeps. Had a few indoors too, so it hasn't been so awesome.
That being said, we usually carry them outside though.
We do. We don't kill them.
Yeah.
We totally put them in a cup and bring them outside.
I was just reading, I think in the front of this book there's a proverb or something about if you want to thrive, let the spider stay alive.
Oh. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, it was new to me too, but
yeah.
not a bad one. How about bugs that you are fond of? Anything on that list that you think of?
Well, I like bees.
Yeah.
Do those count as bugs?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Particular kinds of bees, there's like 20,000.
Yeah, I couldn't list them all. I mean, we have bees, so I like those bees.
The honeybees.
Yeah, and the bumblebees I like.
Yeah.
Too.
They're cool.
So, butterflies, and they're really butterflies, so that's good.
Yeah, they're an attractive one.
Yeah.
Although people don't always love the caterpillar stage of them.
Yeah.
gotta let them be if you want to see the end result.
And we have earthworms, the red wigglers. So I'm not sure I'm like super fond of them, but they do. They compost our items like I don't know, boards and things like that, and paper and stuff like that. So definitely have a use, even if they're not as cuddly as.
Yeah, they're hard workers.
Yeah, definitely hard workers. So.
And what do you think an insect-free world would look like? What would we lose if we lost our bugs?
Well, as I was kind of explained before, some of this richness in the soil and getting the nutrients from the insects, from the invertebrates, would make things a lot more difficult, if not impossible, to grow things.
Soil health is a big one.
Soil health is huge. Pollination for trees and other plants and stuff like that, I think would be next to impossible.
Like there are other mechanisms, obviously self-pollination, winds, and so forth, but most plants need pollination from an insect.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if we had to go out there with like Q-tips or robo-bees or something to like do that job? It would be pretty much impossible.
As we learned in the course that we took, the beginner's course, I think they said that there's specialized varieties of insects for different kinds of plants. So they specialize in, apples, or they specialize in, dandelions or whatever. Like there's different ones.
Yeah,
some of them are very generalist, and some of them are very specific.
Yeah.
So
they might have different mouth parts or different adaptations for those plants.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, which is also why native plants are kind of important. For a variety of reasons. We bring exotic things over and then we get really mad at the bugs for eating them, but there's this free delicious buffet with no defenses.
For sure,
So,
I'm not used to them here, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a double standard.
Like I want nature, but this kind of nature, not that kind of nature.
Yeah, whereas if it's a native plant, then they probably have adapted so that they can either work with the defenses and the plants can defend themselves a little bit, and it's kind of more of a more beneficial dance. And again, the mouth parts and things, they're able to access some of the nutrients or nectar or whatever they need out of them a bit better.
For sure.
So, in terms of other things though, I did learn reading this book that we use bugs to decompose our waste, like our sewage systems and stuff, actually use insects as part of that process. So we would be looking for new ways to treat our waste if we lost our insects. And another thing, and I read a lot about mushrooms too, so this one wasn't focusing on that. I do think that fungi play a role too, but insects are often our decomposers. So if you're thinking about, kind of morbid, but the world could be piled up with dead bodies if we didn't have bugs to break them down and return them to the soil. Again, it comes back to that soil health and breaking everybody back down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Usually if you see
roadkill
roadkill or something, and it's not like, not that I want to bring this up, but yeah, you usually see scavengers, and you would also see like flies and things like that going on.
Some things.
Nice. That are aiding the decomposition.
Yeah, they play a really big role in that, so it's something you don't always think about, but
No.
definitely a piece. And then there are the birds. I don't know if they can see out the window, but we have gotten quite into feeding and watching the birds around here. Have you noticed any interactions between birds and insects?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the ones that are in the ground, like the grouse and the flickers, I think. They tend to feed off of the insects that are on the ground, so they provide a food source for sure. Robins as well, yeah, with worms and other things like that. So without those insects or bugs, if you will, they don't. Some of these birds don't go to our feeders at all. So
true, and when we do feed them, we've noticed like the foods that include bugs, like you can buy dried insects like in your suit and
mealworms.
Yeah. They really are big fans of them.
They are, yeah. Noticed a huge uptick in consumption when we changed our cylinder from the regular cylinder feeder that we have to one that was with mealworms that we were getting.
Yeah, it was a fan favorite.
Definitely.
And in a gardening course that I took, actually, they gave the fact that chickpea parents actually feed between 6,000 to 10,000 insects to their babies in a season, which is massive. That's just like one bird nest.
Holy.
Right?
Yeah.
So 10,000 insects just to raise a few little birds. And if they don't have that food source, then they don't get to have young, essentially, I think. So it's pretty, again, back to that ecosystem and the food chain and all of those important pieces that we don't always see the little bugs being part of, but
definitely are fundamental.
They definitely are fundamental.
Yeah, cascades up, kind of.
It does. And one thing that I was telling you a little bit about, because you were kind of a tech guy, is about the 5G frequencies. So in Rebugging the Planet, they were talking about I think mostly they've done it with modeling, but I haven't seen it in action with real insects, but they said the 5G frequency can cause bees to increase their temperature by 370%.
Wow.
Which is kind of insane. Hey?
Yeah, that's not good.
Like, can you imagine if your temperature spiked 370%? I'm not sure that we could maintain that. I don't know if it means that it'll be fatal to them or not, but that's pretty crazy. And I don't know anything about that technology. Do you, like, as to how one might avoid problems there? Or do you think it's just that we'd have to choose not to use it?
Well, from my understanding, there's different kinds of 5G. So there's millimeter wave, which is like 5G that's really fast, that like you essentially need line of sight to get those really fast speeds. We're talking like gigabit speeds plus, I think 5 gigabits or something, so 3, whatever. I think it's really, really high internet speeds, like our data speeds going to your phone. And then there's non-millimeter wave 5G, which is slower from my understanding, but doesn't require you to be like right next to the tower in order for it to work.
Maybe if they have different
options,
they can.
My understanding here in Saskatchewan is that we're getting more of the non-millimeter waves, so like lower frequencies that would be able to travel over longer distances. I know in the U.S. and like certain big cities like San Francisco or New York, they would have more millimeter wave instances or towers. So, but I haven't really looked into how that affects. I mean, short of you telling me that.
Well, I didn't expect you to research it too much, but just wondered if there might be, some opportunity for them to tweak that, or if it was kind of a set thing.
I couldn't tell you. I would assume some of this is variable, but I would say that a lot of this technology has already been developed, so.
That being said, we're out in the country.
Yeah, we don't have.
So probably we won't have 5G here anytime soon.
No.
And I guess in that sense, with it kind of rolling out not all at once, maybe they'll get more data before it's too big of an issue, I hope.
Yeah, I think it'll be a while before 5G makes it out here for sure.
I think we have touched on it. I was going to ask you about ways that you can think of insects being involved in our day-to-day lives, but you talked about our honeybees.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's been an interesting educational experience that we've had.
I think that's the one that's made us mostly
Aware.
really zero in on, what things are blooming, what food sources are available, all the different careers that bees go through, they have this whole little world to themselves that...
Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 different jobs that they go throughout life. It's
kind of like humans, but on high speed. They really go through a lot of positions in a short span. And they're so well organized as a general.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. Sometimes it seems a little cruel.
Yeah,
We
almost
probably
ruthless,
would
I would say, but very efficient.
Yeah, and they have some really neat things. And I think that humans have borrowed from, the hexagon shape, the honeycomb, being super strong and efficient.
Yeah.
Way to build.
Yeah, very neat.
And then for us, the vermicomposting, as you mentioned, the red wigglers break down our compost. And then going back to the birds, we had a short brainwave where we wanted to try feeding the bluebirds in the area because they aren't really feeder birds, and ended up with a little pack of mealworms and some very vague instructions. And we never saw any bluebirds, but we somehow have a bit of a mealworm farm still going. And I'm not sure if we need them, but we can't quite part with them either. And they've gone through at least a few generational cycles now.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that we keep maintaining, but we're not sure exactly why we're maintaining it.
Though I was reading we could eat them. That is a possibility. And in that book they said that you should place them in the refrigerator for a while to slow down their systems to humanely put them to sleep, I guess, before you boil them. We have not tried that. Obviously this was our first foray into insects, and I'm not sure if mealworms will be on the menu anytime soon. But for now we'll keep feeding them, and maybe we'll try and catch a few birds with them in the spring. But I did find out that the adult form of mealworms is actually called a darkwing beetle, so that was kind of cool. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Reminds me of darkwing duck for some reason. Cool name for them. Oh, and when you put your ear to it, you can just hear them. It's so crazy.
It is
kind of like listening to the ocean. But
yeah, it's almost like putting your head against the shell and being able to hear the ocean.
All the little feet, which is creepy, but kind of cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need to save the bugs to save the planet.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think are some ways that we could help out our little insect friends?
Well, I would imagine, creating environments for them where they can thrive would be one way.
Yes.
Not killing them all the time when you see them straight away.
Yeah, just don't step on them. If you can help it, don't go out of your way to kill them. Escort them out of the house or at locations you don't want them in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Small scale, but hey.
Yeah, for sure.
Lazy yard maintenance is one of them. I mean, if you keep a tidy lawn, you're not giving the bugs anywhere to hang out or pollinate or all those things. So reducing your lawn, planting more native plants and wildflowers, things with nectar, pollen, letting it get tall so that they can hide and nest and do whatever they need to there. Don't rake the leaves. Everybody wants to rake their leaves, but if you leave them, it is good for both the lawns and for the insect population. Same for not cutting down all the stalks. We have taller plants. A lot of solitary bees actually like to nest inside the stems, so it's a good idea to just give them that, and then you can trim them back in the spring, I guess, a little bit. Be lazy though. I mean, why make more work for yourself? light pollution and noise pollution are kind of a big thing for them too. So lights that are on sensors or the softer solar lights are good so that they don't confuse them. We all know about insects being drawn to light, so don't pull them towards the light. And it's surprising, but actually a lot of the sustainable practices that we would want to do in our day-to-day lives are actually good for the bees, for the insects, the bees. Based on this book, I mean, just thinking about what you're buying, buying quality, not buying disposable things, being more careful on how you dispose of things, not wasting food. That's one of the things they'll put pesticides on fruits and vegetables just so you get that perfect one, right? So if you eat those ugly fruits and veggies, then you're kind of encouraging not using those kind of practices. And you can build little houses for them, obviously, the bee houses, the solitary ones. That goes back to giving them space, biodegradable products. Having a compost bin is supposed to be really helpful, and just lots of the same kind of things that I think we would strive to do in our lives. Yeah, good practices. So, and then on top of that, learning is always a great idea. So I would recommend this book. It is a little UK focused, but it's a really good read. And also The Gardener, which is the magazine that recommended the book to me. So it's for gardening in Canadian climates. So if that applies to you, then it might be a good one to pick up. It's quite affordable. And if you need to start smaller, then you can even just, take photos of insects and share them and teach other people about them or about some of these practices. And, or be a citizen scientist using an app like iNaturalist so that people know where bugs are. We still haven't identified, I think, a lot of them on this planet. And they said they think that maybe about 40% of insect populations are in decline, but we don't even really know, I think. So yeah, you can start small and just give them some good buggy PR if that's all you can do.
And so what is the book?
The book is called Rebugging the Planet by Vicki Hird, I think is how you pronounce her last name. The remarkable things that insects and other invertebrates do and why we need to, the library stickers in the way, why we need to love them more. So that is the name of the book. You can get it from your local library or a bookshop, or I will link it below too if you just want to get it from there. And I think that's where we will wrap it up for today. So until next time, guys, keep it buggy.